In the previous video, we set up the Marketing Center and launched it for review. Now, what are we going to do? We are going to do something interesting. We will create and set up Google Analytics for on your website, and we will also configure advanced conversion tracking for your platform. It's quite surprising what is required from us, as we will separately create an advertising account as well. So, where do we start? We will probably start with creating the analytics. You need to go to the analytics website. Additionally, you definitely need to create a new account for your own website. I take the name of my website. I only remove this part. Next, you can check the box or leave it unchecked and move on to the resource name. I always recommend setting names for analytics. We select our currency, Ukraine, and move on. Here, you can set something according to your preference. Or you can leave it as is. Nothing bad will happen. I want to select all options here, accept all the checkboxes, and what do we have next? We already have it. We must definitely write our website. And be sure to include it in the name of our resource that will be used. After that, Google will suggest running this test now. As it will suggest to us, we reload the page so that it correctly displays what it is offering us and how we will install it. For this, we return to our platform, where we look for our analytics module. We enter it. The analyst will guide us through the configuration. After that, it will suggest creating an account, but we can skip this step since we have already created an account. We copy this identifier and return to our modules. We replace this identifier with the one we have, then you can enable its tracking, for example, to minimize its address. This depends on your specific situation. Next, what we do is make sure to save it. And essentially, we can practically say that the analytics are almost set up. To check if it is installed on our website, we will use a plugin, which is also called the same. All you need to do is go through it. That is, we already have it, and we must click Connect here, and then it opens up for us. Here is another window where we can browse through the pages, but in the previous window, we will definitely find our new analytics code. If a person is tracked in the fall, the model works now, meaning Analytics 4 will determine if everything is done correctly. What do we have left to do now? Now we need to set up advanced conversion tracking. What is advanced conversion tracking? We will be creating a more precise personal conversion for Google. We will definitely include data transfer in this conversion, such as food and phone numbers. And we will look at some other data. I will explain how this can be done and why we are doing it to improve performance. Having access to a larger volume of relevant data, the system could learn from more rational and correct data. What will we need for this? We will need to install this module, which I call Eat Again. If you need it, you can write to me, and I will tell you how to install it, or you can directly purchase the module yourself or find a similar one. It is already integrated for me. As you can see, it is already set up. So, the manager is here to create an account. There's nothing complicated about it. You just need to go and create this tag manager. It's very easy and happens quite quickly. As you can see, mine is completely empty. Now we will set it up, but before that, we need to configure the Google Ads account. How can we configure the Google Ads account? There are 3 ways. The first is to separately log into the account directly on the site. We in Ukraine will do it step by step. So, we have 3 options. 1. Follow this link and create an account. 2. You can request that I create an advertising account for you. 3. We can create a merchant center. If we want to create a merchant center, we go directly to our Merchant Center here and proceed without any issues. After we consider the start, we will be immediately prompted to fill in certain settings, that is, to link with our existing link. It offers us to create a new account or an account that we can manage. Potentially, you will already have an understanding here. If we are talking about a new account, remember that it will immediately ask you for similar data. Essentially, the initial stage of creating an account will be this: entering payment information. We already have it here, and we have the link. We will create a new account. Next, it will definitely ask us to fill in all the payment details, which I will quickly skip over. So we added it near the child. It suggests that I download the invoice because I set it up in a certain way. Let's move on. So we have a part of all this. There are poor children. Now we have added it. We close this window, and then we can create a campaign. We go to the company's credit, and what we are going to do here is my favorite option. We will create it very quickly now. The reason I love the option of creating a company's advertising account through the Marketing Center is because it is super ideal, very easy, and very simple. Here we can immediately set the budget that suits you. I will set the equivalent of approximately $10. Let's move on. Now, all we need to do is go to our advertising account. How can we do that? We can go to the tab and increase the manager and Google Ads. Open. All this is in our end. So we activated our account further. I log into my account. I already see my company, but we are stopping to eat now. We will now set up conversions, because without this, performance cannot be enabled or managed. We go to our goal settings, choose the website, and copy the name of our site here. We must scan it with Google as usual, and add any extra buttons we need. Let's go here. Add manually, select the purchase category, and name it accordingly. This is not one of 4 analytics here. You see all the settings as I have them. The only thing is that I personally prefer my own click, but you can choose your own. We already have it. We agree with this information. Click again, then go to our purchase. When we get to this section, and what is interesting here, what we will need for this is first we go to our FAT and we'll create tags sequentially. Or if you want to download this container, ready-made, write to me in the comments. I will give you this ready-made container. What we do, we take our top and copy it as well. Eat, where we insert, add the aid to the mandatory settings. Do you choose what suits you? This is mandatory and we choose 3 games. For me, for example, it's either initialization or, depending on the consensus settings, the consensus gate. Initialization. I just choose initialization for now, so eat. We save it, and after that, we will do the same for the purchase. Again, we return here, select conversion tracking, which is essential. We just need to save it without changing anything. Nothing special is needed. We paste our conversion identifier that we copied in the previous step and return to the tag. We copy the tag here, and now we need to provide all these parameters, as we will set them up for this. We will place a test order together, and I will now show you how to do it. We go to our tag manager. We already have a preview, and we definitely connect to our store here. I am just placing a test order from start to finish, as a regular user would do. I do everything. If needed, you can pay me using the usual payment method for such work, yes. We return here. Now I will close this window and look. Now we need to find in this whole history a line that will be called here. Chase it usually should be here for you. Next, we go to the details of our and what will be done here. All the data had, what we will do, we will set variables for this tag. Lily of the Valley is our income, we will do. Often it works out. You can either follow along with me, or, if you prefer, download this container. I can easily share it with you. Where exactly is the number 1? Merchant indicator. I hear the grid. SJ. Right there. As we are creating now, let's first complete this block. Don't forget about the content. It is essential and doesn't require concentration. Next, we must choose a trigger. The trigger will be directly related to the event of things. I save it. I just save it because sometimes the manager glitches. Reloads the page, and now we definitely need to add food in this block. This is something the user will definitely go through. We will create a new variable. Make sure to choose manual setup, and now we will configure it. For this, we return here and look for the stage where we can see the entire data set, such as delivery information. Or, for example, ours or something like that. If you suddenly don't see all the information, like I do, then you do the following. And we can close this link and click Preview again. And now we will almost place an order again, adding the product to the cart and waiting, and once again waiting for the world. And here's what we do. Since we can provide practically all the information, because I start by choosing, and I have the right to click the button to view the code. Choose Copies of Copies and select LXR. It's mandatory here. I am going to Variables. The manager needs a bit of the key or the whole window. Please give it to her. For now, the same goes for myself with the phone. Rum with a phone if he has a raincoat. There is no phone, but you can enter other data instead of the phone. For example, I don't need anything. Kingdom. Address. And here we go. We can take the address here in the same way. Copy the selection. No, it's not from the phone. It's not about the phone. We are more interested in games. Now, you probably paused the video to fill everything out, and then we will continue. I have assured that almost everything is saved securely. Now it is filled in. Look, I have brought her here now. I am showing where to allow, and we are reloading the page now. Before that, I am removing it for now so that we can check if they are being recorded. Just in case, they also add this blog. Now I will show the data, and once again, we will go through the preview and complete a test order from start to finish. So, we return to our dashboard. Now, look at what we need to do. We need to find on the previous page where exactly our data points were recorded. If we see these earrings, do you see these ones? And so, for example, for all these things, we go back to the previous page and see where they were basically recorded. You see, I have them here too. So, Jana, you end up here, 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 here. And they are no longer in that block because they are not displayed in this block. The only thing we have is what we have. The postal code is not being recorded correctly. We will check it. Once more, the form start is still being recorded. So now I'm doing another one again. The test order is just something I didn't complete. It either saved them or got corrupted, and now we are looking for the page. At which stage did we record the highest number of principals? The shipping info data is missing somewhere. Yes. You see, most of our data was essentially recorded right in front of this page order. And there, where we didn't handle the forms ourselves. But the form summit, which we have repeating somewhere, so we need to try to figure out how to fix it correctly, because here the user will conduct the data, which we did quite well. In principle, it is fixed by itself. So I already understood how to set up this story. There. Closing. We will now send the user separately. Let the system not scold us for not having it. We select the user, set the date, and make sure to take our conversion. Otherwise, it won't be clear where to send it, or if we need to take all the data. Don't forget our variable, please, about the concert. Mocksham is needed, and now we will choose the trigger. I take the casting event called agent. Forum start. I definitely need it to work when I have it. There is a certain significance to Brian. I am currently making a new variable, date lower, and pushing the initial ideas. And I understand that it is a dream because sleep. Here we go. From this, we save. We save. And now we do a full test order again to make sure everything is working correctly. For this, I am doing a full test order. And now we will take a look. Yes, I see that it worked for us a few times, so I will additionally make a certain change in the user settings and show it now. Unsure this is not. Oh, let's place a test order again to see if everything is working. As soon as the order and smoke are still in San Remo, here we have it. It worked once. We have some line 43, looking for line 43, line 43. And now we needed to ideally check if they have gathered. As you can see, we have practically the entire data set we needed, except for one. That says it is not tracking, but I suggest to you, instead of causing a fuss, it won't work. I suggest you leave it all. At the very least, one option is to try just leaving the food. You can also add a phone number, and that will be enough because I take these variables in the way that is suggested to me through these variables. I don't see them. If you suddenly need some adjustments, a separate script, write all these details to me. And we can separately refine it with scripts that can also take the country, because here only the country is needed and not for targeting. So, in principle, we are practically ready. Even if we look at the global itself, also Google, and now let's run to our purchase, you see we have one in this purchase. Here, the entire set of data is transmitted, which includes our tag, the currency, our revenue, the network, and so on. Accordingly, somewhere here should be the user data. The user will spend the date here with us. All the encrypted data has been transferred. Everything is great. Google will understand everything I am doing now. I confirm the publication, which is essential, otherwise it won't work. And now, practically, we can start creating advertising campaigns as needed directly for Google.